Well, it's been a while since I posted a video and I'm truly sorry for that, but I'm hopefully back with a better schedule now. Schedule? I swear me apologizing at the beginning of every video is going to be my running gag now. Anyways, today I want to talk about Republic of Thieves, the third book in the Gentleman Bastard series. A short spoiler-free summary of the plot. We start off with Locke poisoned and barely alive. Like in book 2, I think that's going to be his running gag, that he is almost barely alive in the beginning of his books. Jean was trying to find help for him with no luck, and when all hope was lost, a woman appeared and offered them to rescue Locke's life. Of course not for free, in return all guys had to work as politicians. Needless to say, not as honest politicians, but as scam artists who are going to rig the election. It appeared like a simple job to our guys, but they did not expect that the opposing political party would fight with the same weapons and hire someone from their past. One half of the book is focusing on the present time with the election job. In the other half we are jumping back into the childhood of the Gentleman Bastards, plus our new friend, and yeah, it turns out that this person has a major role to play. Book 3 is basically built like book 1, where we jump from the present time to the past, and I love it. I loved it in book 1, I kind of missed it in book 2. I know there were jumps in book 2, but it was not a jump to their childhood or to the point where all of the Gentleman Bastards were alive. We only had Locke and Jean, so yeah, it was not the same. But he brought it back in book 3, and I loved it as much as I did in book 1. I must say that I enjoyed the storyline of the past more than the storyline of the present time. For me, it felt like that the whole election thing got kind of lost in between the character interactions, which is not a really big deal because I really enjoyed the character interactions. But the problem is that the big reveal at the end did not feel as satisfying as it could have been. It's not terrible, don't get me wrong, but I just wish they could have been more playful with the whole politics thing. Jean kind of took the backseat in this book, which I'm not too mad about, but I still want to mention it because I can see how some people would be disappointed with that. I know I made it sound like that he is barely in the book, which is not the case. He kind of stepped aside for the new character. And now to the new person, Sabbatha is her name. I don't think I need to hide that part. She is really capable, she is really smart and a really good addition to the series. But then I was also annoyed by her actions. I mean, you understood where she was coming from. Sabbatha was horribly hurt in her past, and that does explain why she reacts a certain way to certain things. Nevertheless, that should not be an excuse for her actions, and she really made me roll my eyes a couple of times, but yeah, I still love her though. The storyline of the past is pure gold in my opinion, and my favorite part of the book. We had the whole group dynamic thing of the Gentleman Bastards back again, and I loved it. The ending of this book, on the other hand, is quite something. I thought about it, I'm still thinking about it, and I'm shockingly indecisive on how to feel. I'm not going to spoil it to you now, but I'm constantly playing it through my head again and again, and I'm just thinking how and why, and I think shocked describes my feeling towards the ending the best. Republic of Thieves was really fun to read, and when I was done with this book, I would have ranked it below the first one, but above the second one. But the longer I think about this book, the more problems I have with it. And yeah, now I want to talk about those problems, so spoiler warning. The biggest problem I had with book 2, Red Seas Under Red Skies, was that Locke and Jean kind of felt without a big purpose in life after they have lost everything and everyone at the ending of book 1, and I really hated that. It felt like they moved on to the next big job without sitting down and talking about the things that happened and what they should do for the future. I know Jean tried to do something, he tried to build up something with a group of young criminals, but Locke just stopped him and mocked him for trying that, and I hated it because I thought, okay, they can start from somewhere. But I still apologized all of that because I thought we are in book 2, all of that happened in book 1, the wound is still fresh, so they avoid all of that. They avoid the big talk on what they should do in the future, so I let that slide. But now we are in book 3 and basically the same thing happened. They were thrown in the next big job without any kind of control over their future. They still don't have the talk on what to do and how the future should look like, and I hated it. Like, is it that hard for them to sit down and to say, hey, let's rebuild what Shane planned for us, what he started for us? Or not even that, but they just sit down and say, hey, maybe let's talk about our retirement, what we want to build up for the future. Do we still want to do that, or do we plan on destroying the monarchy and bringing everything into chaos? Like, I just wanted them to say something, anything, really. I was thirsting for any kind of answer, any kind of plan for the future. Maybe I missed it. It could be that everything was kind of implied by them. I don't know, maybe one of you can answer me that question, because I was really missing that kind of energy from them, that they are working towards a big purpose in life. It feels like they are thrown from one job into the next job without having kind of control over their own lives, and I hated that. And no to Sabbatha, I really liked her, but introducing a character that the boys basically grew up with in book 3 is kind of rough in my opinion. It was really jarring. I mean, yes, she was referenced in the other books, but I would say that was not enough for me to have a full-fledged member of the Gentleman Bastards to be introduced in book 3. That was really a lot in my opinion. And I have to say that I hated her reaction upon finding out that so many Gentleman Bastards were murdered. I know she was sad about it, but her sadness was basically over in 10 pages, and I don't know, it would have been a bigger deal for me to finding out that basically half my family was murdered. Am I the overly emotional one? I did not like her reaction. Other than that, she was quite understandable in my opinion, and I really like her. Yes, the part of her being jealous of Locke was quite annoying, but it was still understandable because she was the leader of the Gentleman Bastards, and then Locke came along and took that over like it was nothing. Like, it was completely understandable that she was jealous of that. And her leaving at the end was also annoying because it maybe could have been prevented with one conversation, but you have to keep in mind how traumatized she is and that she acts a certain way because of that, which is still not an excuse but an explanation for that. I saw a couple of people talk about this book and say that they hated Sabbatha. I understand where they are coming from, but yet again, I would still say that Sabbatha is such an understandable character because of her pain, because of the things that she went through. Yes, some of her actions are quite annoying because it seems like those problems could be solved with a simple conversation, but you have to keep in mind, trauma is not that easy to overcome, and yes, it might seem easy when you are not involved with it, or if you are not the person dealing with that pain. Yeah, I have to say, I really like her. Yes, I'm also sometimes annoyed by her, but doesn't change what I think about her. She is really, like I said, she is a really good addition to the series. I hope we see a lot more of her. That's all I had to say about our protagonist. Now I'm going to talk about the Bones Magi? No idea how to pronounce them. I'm going to call them Bones Mage. The woman who came to save Locke's life is named Patience. We find out that she is the mother of the Falconeer, the guy who almost killed all of the Gentleman Bastards in the first book, and the second she was introduced, I trusted her not one bit. I loved her character, I still love her, I loved all of the pages with her, but I did not trust her one bit. In the end of book 1, we left the Falconeer almost dead. He lost all of his hands and his tongue, and he could do nothing. I mean, he was completely handicapped. That woman acted like everything was fine and she was not mad with them, and she offered them the job and saved Locke's life and acted like everything was okay. I trusted her not one bit, and of course at the end it turns out that she hated them and she did not pay the guys after they did their job, and yeah. It ended way more peaceful than I expected, but I really did not trust her one bit. And now to the epilogue. I just have one question and maybe one of you can answer it. The Falconeer, he lost his limbs. He used that weird metal to create artificial limbs so he can do magic again. The first thing he did was to fly around to kill his mother. Patience is supposed to be one of the strongest Bones Mage out there, and he killed her like it was nothing. How is that possible? Like, should it be not harder for him to use magic with those artificial limbs? Like, why does he seem stronger than before with those fake limbs? It would be like me losing my legs and then getting prosthetics and all of a sudden I can run faster and walk better. Should it not be harder for him to move and do magic? And why does he seem so strong and powerful all of a sudden? So powerful to the point that he can kill someone like Patience. I don't know, maybe I have missed something. If one of you can answer the question, please do. But yeah, Republic of Thieves is a really solid book. I would love to hear your opinions on it. That's all I had to say. My name is Karga, and thanks for watching. Ciao.